Hello and welcome. This is a continuation of our networking series. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build wireless infrastructure. If you were following the previous videos, especially the inter-VLAN routing, we have configured this setup and we made different VLANs, VLAN 20, VLAN 10, and we configured those switches. The middle one, for example, here is switch 1, 2P, VTP server mode switch. So when you configure VLANs, it distributes to all the other switches. So here the new requirement is to add wireless VLAN where the staff can use across the building. So on the left we have that building and there are different stories or floors of the building. And this is only CCTV, there's no staff VLAN here, but here also only staff. And there we had VLAN 10, which is the CCTV, and staff VLAN, VLAN 20. So a mixture of VLANs there, one VLAN here, one VLAN here. But now the new requirement is make the wireless access available across all the floors. So the first thing you need to do is we need to collect the bill of materials, BOM. We call it bill of materials. We need wireless access, wireless controller. We also need some switches, and those switches might be providing power over Ethernet, and if the access points do not have power next to them. And then we need access points or the radio where people will actually connect and you mount them. So let's say the first stage is you connect the access points to the roof. Some engineers come, they mounted the access points and then they wired them back to switches, and you gave them what switch port to connect to. So in the middle you will have patch panel, a floor box, or maybe a switch port. So you complete the patching from the access points to the switch. And here we selected the first gigabit interface of each switch over here, and that one and this one, to allow this new VLAN. And the new VLAN is VLAN 30 for the wireless. So if you see here pool 3, where I say the access point will provide DHCP IP to the clients when the PC, so the laptops, the portable devices, when they are connected to the SSID, they will be getting IP address. They will also get the DHCP information, DNS information, and the default gateway. And the pool we configured in that router. So it's a small network. You could have a dedicated DHCP, DNS server, but this router is providing that service. So what we have, first of all, we have the network 30.1.1.0, and we create a pool for that, and we call it VLAN 30. So let's start in stages. We got those devices, the wireless access controller. If you go to the network and then select the wireless devices, then I selected 2504. That's one physical device I have here, and I want to show you the physical later probably. But when I drag and drop it here, I've got the wireless controller here. That's the main device. Then across the building, I need to distribute access points. So the access points, I'm using the lightweight access point, and this is APPT, and I drop one here, and one here. In the data center, which is on the right side, we don't need wireless access. So here I've got the access point mounted on the wall, and then we need to connect them back to the interfaces. So what I did, this router will be the default gateway for the VLAN 30, as we did in the inter-VLAN routing for router on a stick. We configured sub interfaces on that router, fast Ethernet 0/0. So what I did, if we check first of all the configuration that was in place, so let's connect to the router, and if you say show run, you can see we have a pool for the staff, that's the DHCP pool for the CCTV, and then excluded IP addresses. We also created sub interfaces, one sub interface for the VLAN 10, one sub interface for VLAN 20, and now we're introducing a new VLAN, and the sub interface IP will be the default gateway. In the pool, we provide the default router, which is the gateway, and also the DNS server. And from the pool, which is 10.1.1, for example, for VLAN 10, it will provide IPs between 11, because we're excluding 1 to 10. So from 11 onwards, or for /24, the clients will receive from that subnet. But then we need to introduce the new VLAN, which is VLAN 30. So these are the things we are doing. So let's divide the work. One is a physical deployment of the devices, and one is the configuration change. The good thing is we've got already switches in place in the network, and we have a switch here. We have a switch in each floor. This is the distribution or the central switch, and all the building floors, they come into this distribution center. And we have selected this one in a previous video to be VTP server, and those to become VTP clients. So if we create one VLAN here, it should be distributed across all. So the configuration we already put together. So for the router, here's the router. I'm going to configure fast Ethernet 0/0.30 to carry VLAN 30, and that's the IP for VLAN 30. That's the first thing we need to do. After that, I'm going to create a DHCP pool for VLAN 30, and I'm going to call it staff Wi-Fi, and that's the subnet it will be part of. The default gateway, which is the interface from the router, and then I will provide the DNS information. So if I add here some configurations, let's call router 1, router-1, that's the one we had, and I want to add conft, and then I can copy the whole stuff. So let's say just add the exclamation mark. It's like enter when you write a command, and that helps. Let's say that's exclamation mark, and then we have exclamation mark. That's the fast Ethernet. Then we exit the fast Ethernet, and then we go to the this pool configuration. And then when we create the pool, we exit the pool, we exit the config terminal, and then we save, and that's all the configuration we need for the router. So let's copy that bit and paste it in the router. So let's click on the router, go to the configuration terminal, enable mode. So we don't want that, so just paste. That configuration is all done. Now if we check show run, you see the excluded IPs for VLAN 30 is there. Also VLAN 30 pool should be here, which is there, and nothing else. But then also the interface, we have that interface in place. So the router configuration, it's now done. Those the VLAN 30, when they want to route to somewhere which is different from that subnet, they will go to a default gateway, which is the router interface. After that, they will say, okay, and I'm trying to get to a different network, like a network admin who is connecting to the wireless controller. They're coming from VLAN 10, they go into VLAN 30, they need routing. So that part we have done, we'll take care of it. But what about the VLAN 30? Let's check if it's here. And if we say enable and say show VLAN brief, you see the VLAN 30 is missing. And also on that site, or that floor, we can say show VLAN brief. And if you do that, there's no VLAN 30 either, only 20 and 10. Same here. So if you go to enable, show VLAN brief, that also doesn't have. But we know these are clients. They're in the VTP domain. In a previous video, if we go to here, we can configure and say enable. And the interface, there are two things we're going to do here. First, create the VTP VLAN, and it will be distributed across the switches. But also one of the interfaces I need to assign to VLAN 30 and connect the wireless controller. And here's the configuration I prepared for that. So that's the switch 1. We go to config T, we create the VLAN, we name it, and then we exit the VLAN configuration, go to the gigabit Ethernet 0/1, make it an access, assign it to VLAN 30, exit the interface, exit the config terminal, save it. That's the configuration we need for switch 1. So let's copy this part and go to the switch, that's the switch 1, and paste it here. So that configuration is all done and it's saved. So if we say show VLAN brief, now you see VLAN 30 is there and it's assigned to that interface. If we check the other switches, they are clients, they should receive VLAN 30. So that one is also done. VLAN 30 is across all the switches. Let's check this one. That one is also distributed. And here we have VLAN 30. But what we need is, in here, we need to assign one interface to the VLAN, one interface to the VLAN 30, one interface to the VLAN 30. That's how we're going to distribute. So let's go. I prepared that configuration again. So if we go to switch 2, we say interface gigabit Ethernet 0/1, make it access port, assign it to VLAN 30. That's all we need to do. And if I copy that configuration, actually it's the same for all, so I can put in every switch. So here in switch 4, if we paste, so that's done. If we say show run, and the interface we were talking about is the gigabit Ethernet. So let's go to the bottom, and you see gigabit Ethernet is carrying VLAN 30. we do the same for this switch, and if we paste the same configuration, and then if we check show run, you see VLAN 30 is also in there. We come into the last switch, and if we say also paste the same thing, and that should be there. So if you show run, and you can see VLAN 30 is being configured everywhere. So the pool is there. We have VLAN 30 pool. The clients which connect to that interface will get the IP from that pool. They have the default gateway. They have the DNS server, which is in a different subnet. That's all done. For the first part, we finished the configurations, but now we are going to come and configure the wireless controller, the SSID, connect the access point, and in the second part of this video, we will complete that. For now, thank you for your time and see you in another video.